Hi all, and welcome to the next week of Trails to Tasting for the summer 2022 session. I'm out here in this gorgeous meadow ag field area looking for a little flower called St. John's Wort, and that is what we will be creating today with our cocktail, is what I like to call sunshine in a glass. And that is because St. John's Wort actually was in medieval times used to cure insanity. It was the cure to all depression and sadness. And you know, we could all use a little bit of that. So we're gonna be searching for St. John's Wort to make some sunshine in a glass. And here we are. We have found the beautiful little St. John's Wort. And while this may look pretty small right now, it can grow up to 2 meters in height, so that's a pretty tall flower. However, they all have flowers that are about 1 inch, half an inch to an inch max in size. They have 5 petals per flower. And if you look really closely, you can see tiny dots on the edges of the petals, tiny black dots. Sometimes there will also be black dots on the leaves, however, not always. They also have very poofy reproductive structures here, and their leaves are oppositely arranged, and they are oblong in shape. So think of an egg stretched out, very oval or oblong. Now you may find some St. John's Wort that looks a little small for the leaf size here that still is growing in our meadow area. And this is our spotted St. John's Wort. It is still effective. However, you'll see they're much smaller, and the black dots permeate the entire petal rather than just the margins. For this cocktail, you are going to want to harvest enough flowers. We are going to be making an infused alcohol, otherwise known as a tincture. That's what we'll be making. So harvest about half a cup of the flowers to make a small batch of the tincture. These are also really great to dry and then use in the winter time because they are very effective at, again, uplifting the spirit, uplifting the mind, which can be beneficial if you are prone to seasonal effectiveness disorders. So drying these guys to make teas or more tinctures can be really helpful. But for this cocktail, we only need about half a cup of flowers. Yellow does happen to be bees' favorite color and can be a huge attractant to say, hey, come to the pollen here. So we want to be conscientious about maintaining habitat for bees and small flies. So if you do harvest, please do not overexploit. Stay to the 1 to 3 rule. You can learn a lot about a plant just by its name, and St. John's Wort is no exception. This awesome little flower is named St. John's because it is supposed to bloom around St. John the Baptist Day, which is June 24th. So we can start to look for the plant in bloom at that point in time. However, the wort in the name comes from the fact that it is a medicinal plant. So things that are generally used for plant medicine will have wort in the name. Now, keep in mind, I am not your doctor, so if you have questions about medicine, please ask your doctor. This is just intended to be educational and to help you get an idea of what you can do and how you can use plants to support your health. Once you have your flowers here, you are going to infuse this in alcohol. Any type of clear alcohol would work. However, I'm going to use gin just because that's what I'm partial to. But let that sit for 2 to 3 days, and then we'll come back and use that tincture for our cocktail. All right, so I've had my tincture going for a little bit already, and I really wanted to call out something cool that happens. We think of this as being sunshine, it's yellow, but this is also a dye plant. And you can see it produces a red pigment which is just really, really cool. Now, the cocktail itself is going to be still pretty pale because we're going to combine this with some grapefruit, which is very uplifting as well, and some white wine. So, take your tincture, and we're going to add about an ounce of it to this glass. Then we're going to add a little bit of freshly squeezed grapefruit juice. Again, grapefruit is just such an uplifting, bright, and cheerful fruit. Add a little bit there, and then some for garnish. Now we'll top it off with some chilled white wine. And that is all it is. If you'd like, you can absolutely add some ice cubes to it, but since my wine is chilled, I'm good to go. Wow, oh, okay. So, ooh, complex. Okay, let's break it down. So we've got the really bright, tangy of the white wine mixed really nicely with the citrus of our grapefruit. But there's this weird underlying earthiness, like think, you know how when you smell freshly cut grass, it's very bright, but also very earthy, and you can smell like the grass, the plantiness of it. Not that this cocktail tastes like grass, but you can get, even though there's these bright flavors, citrusy flavors of the grapefruit and the wine, you still get some really pleasant earthiness to it that probably comes from the St. John's wort, despite the fact it's not going to have too much of a flavor boost. It's cool. So enjoy this cocktail. Let it be a mood boost. Let it bring you great sunshine to your summer. Did you enjoy this week's Sunshine in a Glass? If so, subscribe here and stay tuned year-round for awesome foraging and getting to know the natural world that you are a part of. That's good.